it's our time to shine. When your dreams are real, how good does it feel? Now it's our time to shine. And love is the key if you set your hearts free.
I see a lot of new faces, some people that I know. I just want to acknowledge everyone that's come here tonight. There may or may not be something here for you, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming and checking this out. You may well be aware that things aren't quite going to plan. It's a time of transition, and there's a lot of chaos on the planet. Economically, countries are literally falling apart, and so we're here to provide you with a viable solution to that. And we've got some experts that will be sharing with you some options to take on board, so that when you leave this room tonight, if what we're offering is a good fit, one, you might be interested in our health products. We've got outstanding liquid whole foods. One in particular is called Body Balance, and it's changed the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So you might just like that. You might like the product and health, and that's it. That's absolutely fine. Second option is there's a way, this very generous company has provided a way for customers to get their products for free for life. So that's a wonderful opportunity, especially knowing the challenges people are facing in these economies. Yeah. So that's been designed specifically to help those people. There's also a third option where not only can you get your products paid for free, for life, you can also generate an extra income stream. And literally, the sky's the limit on that. You might just want an extra part-time income, you might want something more. Well, that option caters for you. And the third option that we will speak of tonight is a fast-track option. It's for entrepreneurs. It's for people that are ready to implement the business, the intelligent business models that we have, and generate some significant incomes. So I would like to start now by introducing you to some of our guests, and it just happens that our founders have walked in the door. Timing couldn't have been better. Folks, you may not be able to see, but our founders, Wayne Hillman, Jerry, and Marjorie Lynn, Lifeforce International, the Hillman family, they're our special guests, come all the way from USA just to be here with us, and also David Raphael, our Managing Director. Hey guys. Please give them a hand. And also, just to add something else to the equation, we're actually live. We're being recorded live, folks, so you're live on TV. Do you want to give that camera a little hello there? Come on. Hi there. So folks are going to be in their homes one day watching this DVD, and this is what they're going to see. Fantastic.
Good evening. How many people are guests here? Can you put up your hand? Wow, lots of people. A really special welcome to all of you. I really want to welcome you in a way that truly means a lot to me, because being a part of this organization, being a part of this business, being a part of this community of people has completely changed my life. And one of the things I love more than anything is to offer that to others. One of the things that's always been sitting inside of me is a sense of being more than what I saw myself to be in my life. I always felt that there was like this, some other person in here that was wanting to get out. And I couldn't find a way to do it. I found ways for little bits to come out here and there. But I just felt like there was always something that was missing. And one of the things I've found being part of this journey is me. I feel like I've been given the most extraordinary gift to truly live what I came here to live, to be who I came here to be and do what I came here to do. I have the incredible, incredible privilege of changing hundreds, thousands of people's lives around the world. And being given an extraordinary payment for doing that. Like, this is how I make my living. And there was a time when everything was a real struggle. Health-wise, financially, lots of different ways. I know that when my husband and I were first introduced to this opportunity, we've been struggling for a while. And if you can imagine, we had something like $52,000 of credit card debt that we had slowly, over time, accumulated. And my husband's American, and so we lived part of the year over there and part of the year back here. And one of the big things for me was that living over there, how was I ever going to get to see my family? And I know for the first probably 8 or 9 years of living over there, I never came back because there was no way I could afford to do that. And we were just stuck in this place of, what are we going to do? I mean, there were times when I just sat and cried because I really didn't know how we were going to get out of this situation. And I knew that there was more to my life than this. You know, more to my life than having 2 jobs and trying to make ends meet and being really grumpy and depressed and upset because I was in pain and I was tired, and it was crazy. And then some wonderful angel came into our life and told us about this opportunity. And now my life is completely different. And one of the things I realized, I mean, we get to come back whenever we want. We get to live where we want. We have a gorgeous house here in New Zealand. We have a house in Colorado. We also had a place in Australia that we've just sold. I mean, we have this incredible, incredible freedom. I feel healthier than I've ever felt in my entire life right now. And as we get older, that's not often the case, right? It usually goes the other way. So it truly is an extraordinary gift of my life. And one of the things that I just want to offer you is this evening to listen to what people have to share with you tonight, maybe in a different way than how we normally listen to things. What I'm asking you to do is to actually listen for what's possible. What's possible for me here? Just take a minute and just think about your life as it is right now. Is there anything that you would like to change? Is there anything that you would like to choose differently? Have a choice to do differently. Maybe like me, there was some dreams of being able to do something, but there was no way right now that could be possible. If you had all the time in the world, all the money in the world that you needed, not all the money in the world, but all the money that you needed, the health, vibrancy, well-being, how would your life be different? What would you do differently? You know, for some people, maybe there isn't a difference. Maybe everything you have right now is just absolutely perfect. And what a gift that is. But for most people, there would be a few different choices that you would make. And so what you're going to be hearing tonight is some information, and you're going to be hearing some experiences that people are going to share with you about how it's been for them through this journey too. So that by hearing different people's experiences, we can maybe start opening up to, what if that were actually possible for me? What if there was an opportunity to make a different choice in my life? So I leave you with that, and I'm going to turn you back over to Cliff, and just kind of suspend what's out there for the next hour, and really listen for what's possible here. Because there's way more in each and every one of us than any of us ever realized. We all came here to do something special on this planet. I truly believe that. And for me, this opportunity makes that possible.
I heard something a few years ago that helped me make sense of life for myself, and it was that every experience you create helps you to clarify what else you want to create, what's that next step. And for me, that my working life began as a medical doctor, and I was working, sometimes 100, 120 hours a week, either on call or on duty, and I really couldn't see. That was the first glimmer I got that I wanted a freer life. I wanted a life where I could actually have more choice over my time. And I was also working. Medicine has a lot of good things. So I'm not anti-medicine, but I am pro looking after yourself. And one of the things I found I was just afraid of hurting people, and there's a lot of chance to hurt people in medicine. And I wasn't happy living with that thought. And so I looked for something else that I could do that wouldn't do that. And I was at the same time interested in more consciousness work with people. So that's what I did. I got involved in that industry and became one of the top trainers in the industry and to work with people. But then what I found, I was so busy, I didn't have any time. I still didn't have any time for me, so I still hadn't figured out that one. So I figured out how to help people rather than possibly harm them. And so there's very little risk of harming, and a lot of potential for growth. And that I really loved, that whole process of self-transformation. But I didn't have a life. My wife and I went on a holiday once. I distinctly remember this because she made us go away for a week every 7 weeks because we were just full on right through the whole time up until that 7-day week. And it would take me 3 days to actually relax enough to enjoy it. I was just too stressed, and that can't be healthy. So then that's made me look at, well, how can I create a life where I've got more control of my time again? And so it was a good friend of mine who I met him through the seminar business that I was doing. He came and introduced me to network marketing. And I could actually see in there, I had the possibility of creating a life for myself. I could have more time, I could have my time back. And I could have the support underneath me, both of the team that's helping me and the team I'm building, that would actually give me the ability to relax and enjoy the process. And so that's what I've been able to create. And, it was, in that time I've had a family. My daughter is now 18, and another daughter's just turned 15 just 2 days ago. And I've spent my life, their life with them. So I haven't been like, when I was in medicine, I kind of thought, well, if I ever did have a family, how am I going to fit that in? And so I've actually got to spend time with my girls, and actually they know me and I know them, and that's just been such a gift. So, if any of that speaks to you, I encourage you to take a deep look. Thank you.
About 8 to 10 years ago, I had a dream. It was a very special dream. I got very clear about my dream. And I'd been to this very special place in Queensland called Noosa. And I just absolutely fallen in love with this place of Noosa. So back home in Hawke's Bay, I really formulated this dream around spending a lot of time in Noosa, having a house there. I could smell the sea, I could feel the breeze. It was an enchanting place, so that really inspired me. So I went ahead and I was in a reasonable place at the time to, perhaps realise this dream one day. And I was pretty highly motivated, so I went away and I thought, right, I need more education. How do you make money a bit faster? And I thought I was doing all the right things. And so what happened then was I started to lose all my money. I thought I was making wise decisions, aligned with the right people, and things just actually crashed on me. That's what happened. And I just saw my dream fade. But in that piece of it, the education that I did get, there were some really good things. And, who knows, it probably wasn't even that, but something that was going on in me. And I learned about the residual income and leveraged income of network marketing. And it was around that time that I met Lifeforce. I was introduced to Lifeforce, and over time I could see, that this really had potential for me. And at my age and stage of life, how else was I going to get it back on my feet again? Really, I didn't want my children having to support me. They were going to be at some stage with their own families. I wanted to be able to help them. So I've been with Lifeforce for some years now. And I know that by the check that I get every month, by the wonderful team that I have with me, working with me, they're creating all of their dreams and I'm actually getting to help them. That's a really wonderful feeling. And so I can smell the sea of Noosa again, and that's really fantastic.
My dream when I was 14 was to emigrate to New Zealand. I'm from Germany. And it took me 6 years to make that dream come true. Actually, 7 years to make that dream come true. But I did. So I kind of had an idea, yes, we can create something in our life that we really want, even if it seems almost impossible. I have 4 children. I have a beautiful, beautiful piece of land, 13 acres. I have llamas and horses and chickens and huge organic gardens. I grow all my own food. And I'm able to, we are self-sufficient. So that dream was all part of me coming to New Zealand. Then somebody shared this opportunity with me. And being a yes person, I said, yes, I'll give it a go. and so I went ahead and I over time, I had opposition. I had my partner who said, this is never going to work. This is just one of those things that only works for very few people. So anyway, with my 4 children, my dream was to stay home. My dream was to be at every school event, to be able to support my youngest daughter in her equestrian riding, which basically means being out 3 hours just about every day and every weekend. And so it's a lot of time involvement. So I needed time freedom, and I also needed money. We have a big mortgage on our house. And I needed to somehow find a way to also help with financial well-being of my family. My husband is in real estate, so he was very successful, kind of #1 in all sorts of things. And then we had a monumental event happen. Most of you know we had this earthquake. So, earthquake destroyed a huge amount of businesses, a huge amount of livelihoods, and took lives of people. And we were lucky in that, yes, we were all fine and none of my family got hurt, although I lost 2 friends. And so somehow, on some level, we were all touched by what happened. Now, since then, my partner's income has quartered. Commercial real estate, it's all kind of gone. It'll come back, but at the moment it was. Now, since then, my income doubled in LifeForce. Doubled! Isn't that cool? And how does it do that? I have business in New Zealand, right through New Zealand, in Australia, and in the States. So my business is not a bricks and mortar business that a disaster can wipe out. My business is a business that I'm going to, it doesn't have a ceiling on it. I can earn as much as I want to earn, as much as I put in is what it will develop to me. I have a huge supportive community to do that with. And I do this to leave a legacy, not just in my life, in other people's lives, to make a real difference. And this is a business I can leave this to my children.
So exciting to be here. This was one of my dreams, to come to New Zealand. So someone once asked me, if you could wave the magic wand and have your life look however you want it to look, what would you like that to look like? And I thought, I'd have a wellness centre of my own. I'd travel. I'd be home for my kids. I'd be there at all their events. I'd be helping lots and lots of people. I'd be building a business with a community of like-minded people. I'd have a place where we can just all inspire each other, where we'd have women's circles and all sorts of events and get-togethers, and it would be just this vibrant, buzzing place. But 2 years ago, my life actually didn't look like that. So I'm a journey practitioner. I do counselling and hypnotherapy, and I had a small wellness centre. I was renting a small wellness centre, and every January, what would happen to me was I'd take 3 weeks off to take the kids on holiday, and when I didn't work, I didn't get paid. And all my practitioners, I only had 2 at the time that were working at the centre, would go on holiday and they wouldn't pay rent, so there'd be no money for 3 to 4 weeks. And often it would take, often till March, April to actually catch up. And I was stressed. It was a lot of stress, and I was just surviving. And I was loving my work. I love being a journey practitioner. But if I wanted to earn more income, you just need to work more hours, and again, that just was taking time away from my family. So I was very fortunate to be introduced to LifeForce, and I started taking the products, and with the products my hot flushes disappeared. I was having hot flushes, so they disappeared. And then I started sharing this with my colleagues, with other journey practitioners, with other practitioners, with my clients, and I noticed that everyone was getting amazing results. And within a year of doing this, and it just came so naturally, so easily, and I was just sharing, as you do, when you find something good, you share it. And a year later, just slowly snuck up and crept up on me. I noticed that my LifeForce income was actually more, had surpassed my primary income as a practitioner. And I was able, so now I'm able to choose how many days I work. I usually only work about two and a half days a week. I'm able to be with my kids. I'm able to walk on the beach. I usually take the mornings off. I don't go until about 2 o'clock. And and I travel. I've been to America twice. I've been to New Zealand. This is my second time now in New Zealand. In America, I've just had this dream of going to Colorado and climbing the Rocky Mountains, which I did, and I saw hummingbirds for the first time. Never seen a hummingbird, and the beautiful quaking golden aspens of Colorado, and I met the most beautiful people, like-minded community who I keep in touch with, and we just all work together, and we're sharing this amazing product. And I've just created a lifestyle. So LifeForce has enabled me to create the lifestyle of my dreams. My dream now is, I've just sponsored a child. Again, just another thing I was able to do was sponsor a child, which I've always wanted to do, and my dream now is to go to Cambodia with my children to visit this child. So, and the other thing I was able to do was take my daughter to New York in her gap year. She's in musical theatre. She does a lot of amateur theatre, and we wanted to go to New York, and we saw 10 shows in 9 days. We saw Daniel Radcliffe. We saw Harry Potter was like 7 rows in front of us, and she was going, "That's Harry Potter." kind of Harry Potter. So we just, all these experiences, and you know, if I would have even dreamt 2 years ago that my life would look like this, and now I'm here in beautiful Nelson, I mean, I just wouldn't have believed that this could be. But it's real, and I'm here. And the most wonderful thing was I've been able to now buy my wellness centre. I bought a beautiful little property, small property, but opposite this grand mansion in Melbourne. So every day when I look out, I see this beautiful old heritage building, and it's just gorgeous. I think it's Gothic or Renaissance. I don't even know the style, but it's gorgeous. For those of you that have seen it, and I just feel abundant, and I'm sharing the place with so many other people, and I can leave this property now as an investment for my children. I've got an investment that I can leave behind, and so if any of what I have said speaks to your hearts and you see any possibility in this for you, then I just ask you to just trust yourselves.
You know, each generation has an aspiration and a dream. It's a generational dream. And I'm sure most of you share this, and that is that we want to leave the world a better place for our children, don't we? We want our children and their children to have a better economic future and a better societal future. I think all of us share that. And yet, in today's world, unless you've been living in a cave somewhere, you've probably noticed on the news that we are in a worldwide recession, possibly a depression, the likes of which we haven't seen since the 1930s. Now, that's a nightmare for a lot of people in the developed world. Millions of people are out of work, they've lost their homes, they've lost hope. And the next generation is inheriting huge amounts of debt that maybe can never be paid back. But it hasn't always been like that, has it? It hasn't always been like that. So what's different this time? Why is it that when most people look ahead, they go, you know, I don't think this is going to be done in a year, maybe not even 3 or 4 years, maybe not even 5 or 10 years. As far as we can see ahead, looks like pretty stormy weather economically. Now, you may not be personally in jeopardy of losing your home or your job, but perhaps you have some concerns about other people you know. So what do we do? What do we do about that? What are our options? What are our options in life? And I'd like to give you just a very brief tour of how wealth is created. Would that be interesting? Does anyone know how to create wealth?
Yes.
Yeah. In the old days, and I'm talking old days, like 5,000, 10,000 years ago, wealth was largely plunder. You know, pillage and plunder, hunter-gatherer, whatever you want to call it. And then this thing called agriculture came along somewhere between 10,000, 5,000 years ago. So people could create wealth from the land. So if you owned a bit of land, you could grow something or graze some animals. That was the source of wealth, wasn't it? Wealth was food and sustenance. And about 200, 300 years ago, around 1700, 1800, this thing called the Industrial Revolution happened. And suddenly, wealth was created by manufacturing things. And instead of 100 people growing food and just getting by, now it was usually the man could leave the house and go to the city, which was kind of a new thing, and work at a factory and create things and get a wage and support a family. And that ticked along for a couple hundred years. And then we had another shift. We had a shift around 1950. And wealth suddenly was not created by growing things or making things. Yeah, those were still operating. We still need to eat and have things. But wealth was created through the service industry, service economy. Companies like IBM, and insurance companies, suddenly got really big really fast. New thing, new source of wealth. Fast forward again to 1980s. We moved into what was called the knowledge economy. So suddenly, growing things, building things, working on things wasn't the primary source of wealth. It was working on things or servicing things. And then fast forward again, and we moved into what? The information economy. Suddenly, wealth is created with ideas. Now, we're undergoing yet another fundamental shift in how wealth is created. Now, here's the thing. Every time those transitions occurred, there were winners and there were losers, weren't there? If you were growing things all your life. You couldn't just suddenly go in a sophisticated factory and suddenly know how to make things, or work on things, or be a knowledge worker. So every time those transitions happen, there were winners and losers. And we're undergoing yet another fundamental shift. If you've noticed, banks are failing. Companies are going out of business. Countries are going out of existence, or about to. Another fundamental shift. Wouldn't it be helpful to know the strategies for succeeding in this new economy? Well, I'll give you a clue. Think for a minute, what's a company, clearly a new economy company, that didn't even exist 10, 12 years ago? It has the largest market capitalization, I believe, in the world. It's one of the most highly profitable companies in the world. Everybody knows it. Everybody uses it. And they don't make anything. They don't grow anything. They don't service anything. As a matter of fact, they give away stuff for free, and they're making gazoodles of money giving away stuff. Anybody know the companies? There's a couple of them. Google, Facebook. They're coming and they're coming, aren't they? The owners are outrageously successful, and they don't grow, they don't make, they don't service, they give away intellectual property. Who would have thought? Giving away stuff you can get, that's the source of wealth. Giving away stuff for free. Now, you can possibly see a strategy there, but you might be saying, well, I don't have enough stuff to give away. You know, if it worked, I'd be rich already, but it's not working for me. But let's look at what they do. They give away intellectual property, don't they? They give away ideas and knowledge, and they don't even own it. They don't make it. They just give it away. Now, wouldn't it be great if you had the opportunity to adopt that strategy for yourself? To give away information and create a system that brings money back to you. Well, you do have access to this, and it's called network marketing. That may be a shock for some of you. But let me explain what I mean by that. How does network marketing work? Well, if I like Thai food, and I find a great Thai restaurant, and I know my friends like it, I say, hey, Steve, it's a great restaurant down here, check it out. You like Thai food, and he does. Now, we're all used to doing that. That's what friends do, right? We share good things with, and all the way, fair is fair. If it's a bad restaurant, I say, Steve, don't go there. Right? Fair is fair. But for all the Thai food I've recommended, all the books, all the movies, all the stuff I've recommended in my life, I have yet to then offer a free meal, not even a bowl of rice. I mean, they ain't giving me nothing. So there's something not working in that. But I just want to point out that that's what we do anyway. But here's where network marketing is different. I find a great product I love, like Body Balance. I say, Steve, I started using this product. I've got more energy, I'm sleeping better, I'm performing better. I love this stuff. And he says, well, I could use some more energy, I could sleep better, I could perform. Where do I get it? I said, well, I don't have it, but look, tell you what, get it like I do. Get it right from the factory at factory direct prices. It's an 800 number or website, just go, tell him I sent you. He does. He calls up the factory or emails, or he says, hey, give me some of that stuff. They said, who referred you? He said, well, Michael Jude did. They ship him his stuff, and guess what? Unlike the restaurant, they send me a little thank you check. They say, thank you. Thanks for referring Steve. We didn't have to advertise. We didn't have to put it on a shelf. We didn't have to do any of the stuff that normal companies have to do. So we're going to send you the money, that part of that money that we would have spent. Thank you. I go, well, this is pretty cool. I got this check. And I did good by my friend, and he loves this stuff. This is pretty cool. So I feel good. But I start feeling even better because if Steve uses the product and he feels good about it, and the second time he orders, I haven't seen him, right? I haven't seen him in a month or two. He says, well, this stuff's good, I want more. He gets more from the factory, and the factory sends me another thank you check. And I go, wow, this is really good. I could get used to this. And as a matter of fact, if you're like me, I literally couldn't sleep one night. I woke up, my wife said, what's wrong? I sat up in bed. I said, I got it. I got it. As long as Steve uses the product, and by the way, People have stood up and said, this is so good, I will use it the rest of my life, right? I'll use it the rest of my life. I got it. If Steve uses this product again and again and again, I've got an income the rest of his life. No wonder I sat up in bed. And you know what? If he uses Body Balance a lot, he'll probably live a long time. That's the really good news. But then I couldn't go back to sleep. You want to know why? Because I got it's even better. Because if Steve tells Seamus about the product, and Seamus says, hey, I want some too, where do I get it? He says, buy it like I do, direct from the factory prices. Tell him I sent you. And he buys it from the factory. They send Steve a thank you check. And they send me a thank you check for Seamus's order. This is getting really cool. Because now I got income the rest of his life and the rest of his life. Whoa. I think I could tell a lot of people, right? This is how wealth is being created today. By giving away information, right? Giving away information. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. But now there's a chance to actually build a network, a distribution network, a virtual network. See, I don't have a factory or an office. I don't have any place that I call my business other than this cell phone. If I can get reception anywhere in the world, here's my business. This is it. And I run a multi-million-dollar global business from this little piece of hardware. Think about it. We have financial freedom. The rest of their life, you know? And we got lots of young people using it too. The rest of their life, I have income. I can be anywhere in the world. I have location freedom, right? I've got time freedom. Look, whether I'm at the beach, reading a book, working, doing whatever, they're still buying product. I'm still getting the checks. And you know, for those of you that do have a concern about your generational legacy to the next generation, when we pass on, the company will continue to send us checks. They will send them to the same address. They're not going to stop the checks just because we die. It will go to our estate, to our children, and our children's children, and their children, and their children. And folks, if you build one of these businesses right, they could last 50 years, 100 years, 200, 300, or more years. This is how wealth is being created, and you want to be in on this one. Don't miss this. Thank you very much.
So by now you're probably wondering, what is this vehicle, we're talking about? And I will cover that in a moment, but I just want to say a couple of things. I'm one of those people that grew up in communism. And my understanding of business led me to understand that, what? The way it works is, it's a really win-lose, isn't it? I get to work for my wage, but you know what? I never get paid quite enough, isn't it? And the owners of the companies know that, and they pay me just enough so I won't quit. But I get never paid enough so I can just quit, really. And I was looking for something. I was looking, what can I do? Coming from a background that was kind of unemployable here, I was looking, well, how can I create something with no capital, with very little money, but I had time. So when I found network marketing, I was one of those people who couldn't sleep. I could not sleep because I realized I can have my dreams. So I was really looking, and there is people out there who are looking. I was looking for a network marketing company. And I was scrutinizing many of them because they are good companies, some of them are great, and some of them are excellent companies. And when I found LifeForce, I also couldn't sleep. When you have the owner of the company call you, welcome son, you're part of my family, and when you have an owner of a company saying, son, we'll be here for you, we'll help you, we'll support you to get your dreams. And when the owner of the company says, folks, we will put our people before the profits, I got excited. So I want to share a little bit about LifeForce because this is a company I feel like I'm married to. I got into a family that I can totally trust and rely on. You know, LifeForce has been around for quite a while. It all began with one man's love for his wife. When she was in dire need of good health, and everything failed, and the medical system failed, he went out finding another solution. It's a product you're going to hear about. It's not a magical cure, but it's an incredible product. And you're going to hear about it a little later. That's where the company began. And it didn't begin with the idea, okay, let's go out and make some money. No, it began out of the real need. And out of there, it grew. Why? Because product really worked. 27 years or so, this company has been operating. LifeForce is not a new, fly-by-night company who started and it's pulling everybody in because the people feel, excited they might all of a sudden get millionaires. No, this is a stable company. It's been around. With LifeForce, you get to have a company you can rely on, you can trust. You can know that your children will still be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And your children's children, like Michael pointed out. You get a company that has a time-proven product. It's not some sort of a new product. There's a lot of gimmicky products out there. It's juices and this berry and that strange name and that strange. It's just, the market is flooded. So this product is the original liquid product. It's been around 27 years. If people ask you these funny questions, does the product work? As if he would still be in the business 27 years later if the product didn't work. Can you imagine? Can you imagine people ask those kind of questions? These companies here to stay and become one of the leading companies in our industry globally. So, think carefully when you have a look, and I invite you to really investigate deeply. Now, I also want to share with you a couple of things because this company is very generous. We are so fortunate to have the founders and the owners of the company here, and you see how humble people they are, and they're so incredibly generous. Folks, those of you who've done commission sales and real estate business, and what people make in sales is real small commissions. It's not, lots of money. It's a little bit. They have to work hard. It's not an easy business. That's why not many people do sales. Yeah? No. Then we have companies out there, they will pitch you hard and yet what they pay you is just a little bit more than peanuts. But LifeForce is incredibly generous. 50 to 60% of all the money that comes in, it's paid out to us. You just imagine, a dollar comes in, between 50 and 60 cents goes out. You might wonder, how's that work? I'm not going to go into details on numbers because then I'll put you to sleep. And I don't want to do that. But what I will say is this is the most generous company that I've came across. And I've looked, folks, I've been looking for 2 years. Now, as the economy started to get tough, and you have heard tonight about the challenges that we're facing, and you all know about it, the media is full of it, we found that there's a lot of people out there who love to have this product, who can't afford it. So guess what? When I first came with a plan. We had a plan for people who have a hard time with the product. Because Wayne and Jerry said, you know what? We know that people who take this product, they love it. Most of us who've been on this product for a long time, we love the product. And yes, I know Michael Jude will have an income for the rest of our life and beyond because we love this product. It would not go without. And the company said, we'll help these people stay on the product. So they produced a little reward program that says, very simple, you will recommend this product regardless of whether you get paid or not, right? Because it works. We have about 70–80% of all our people involved are customers who are not interested in making money. Even if we give them, they don't want it. They came on board just for the product. So we have a program now that enables them to get product for free. Free for life. How does that work? It's very simple. If you like the product, you're going to talk about it, aren't you? Then all you need to do is send those people to somebody who's doing this professionally as a business. And they will tell them about a product, introduce them, and help them create a wholesale account directly to the company. And each time you help somebody else get on the product, guess what? You get like a brownie point, a reward point. And you know how this works. Like Air New Zealand's got it, Qantas has got it, this program. Well, the LifeForce is really generous. You only need to introduce 3 people, 3 points, folks. Get 3 people and your product's free. And for as long as they buy it, it'll be free. It'll be free for you. Potentially full line. Now it gets even better because those 3 people can also get it for free. So can you imagine what happens? People help each other get product for free. Lots of people already get free product. This is only just started as the economy started to crumble when Jerry generously introduced this concept for our customers. But what has that done for me as a business person? It's created tremendous stability and it grows by itself. I don't have to be even involved in some cases. But it gets even better. There's also a system for people who want to take this and develop it into a career. Like myself, this is my career. I've been looking for something like that. And I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I am so in love with what I do. I don't plan to retire. Why would I retire when I do what I love? Now, how many people do you know who do what they love? There are some. So, there is a very generous plan for those who want to develop this as a business. You probably all heard. How many of you have seen a presentation about network marketing before? Yeah, so you'll probably all remember when they say, you get 3 people, who get 3, who get 3, who get 3. Remember that? Yeah, it's a good theory, isn't it? But does it really work for that? Not really. You might get 1 who get 10, and you get 1 who get nobody. Yeah? What if we could show you how it could work for you? Not a theory, but how it could really work. We have a business plan, not a theory, folks. A business plan that's proven, that works. And it's very simple. It's based, again, on that concept of giving away something for free. And take that to success. Now, our system is very simple, called the Simple Sample System. People love to give things away, don't they? So how hard it is to say, hey, Seamus, look, I got this little 3 samples I'd love to give you as a gift, but I really would like to know that you're going to actually take it with you. And we promise that you're going to review some information. I'm looking for people sharp like you who would love to join my team. Would you review some information?
Yeah,
right. And can I pull you back on Tuesday or Wednesday? When will it work?
Wednesday.
Okay, cool. Here it is. Now, how hard it is to do that? It's not difficult. That's why I call we have a plan. We have a plan that if you do that, you will have results. Very predictable results. This company is sort of everything. We have a phenomenal, generous compensation. We have a plan that works, that's been proven. We have a product that's absolutely works. There's no question there. But we also have a support. When you come aboard, you get to work with some of the top people in the industry. How often they get a chance and an invitation to work with millionaires, with leaders in the industry? It doesn't happen that often, isn't it? So when an opportunity comes by, don't let it miss you.
Before I share my story, I'd like to just ask you a question. What if your yearly income could become your monthly income? I've had some experience in running my own business, and so my story is related to business. And I've discovered in our industry, that's network marketing, that it provides a vehicle for me to achieve time freedom, location freedom, actually have a life. And this is something that I treasure. And so, you know, let's see if this speaks to you. I mean, would you like more time freedom? Would you like location freedom? Would you like to just be able to get up and go and do something, whatever it is, just at the drop of the hat? Not being accountable to anyone, not having to show up at a job. Most people work, right? Well, I've been based in corporate, in a structure where I had a job. And I've also now created a lifestyle and an international business that gives me exactly the leverage that I need to have time, location, freedom. And it hasn't been easy. Our industry is a relatively new industry. It's had some challenges, serious challenges, to break free, and what I regard is actually give people the opportunity to have a life, to live their life purpose. And so one of the key strengths that I've identified with our industry is that it's actually provided a model, an intelligent business model, to actually enable people to do exactly that. Now let's look at what I regard as the old paradigm, where I had a job. Well, I used to sit in this high-rise office, and it was a beautiful fine day, and I caught myself looking out the window, and all I could think of was, why can't I be at the beach? Why can't I be surfing? It really woke me up. There were other things around that too. I didn't get to choose my boss, my workmates. It was a structured environment where I really felt powerless. I had no control. And so those are just some of the things. I'm just wondering, is any of that sort of, can you relate to that? Now, I didn't know then how I could possibly get out of that, but I knew this wasn't me. And yet everything was set up from the day I went and was educated. They didn't tell me about being my own business person and creating a lifestyle and leverage and building networks internationally. No, none of it was geared towards that. And so I felt that, like, with the benefit of hindsight, that whole structure was set up to limit me. So I stand for freedom, I stand for empowerment, I stand for living my life on my terms. And so I've looked at both. I've looked at what I've lived in the old paradigm, what I call the job, or even small business owners suffer the same consequences. No time freedom, no location freedom, not even having a life, to versus what I have now. I have an incredible bunch of friends I get to travel internationally and nationally with, free mentoring and coaching, beautiful community that I work with, and we're actually here to make a difference on the planet, to usher forth this new paradigm that actually gives people the opportunity to be free.
I met some wonderful people, Michael, Jude, Krista and Svana, Lisa and Manfred, who over the years I've become friends with. But at that point I joined the Life Force business, and I went on their wonderful products. Probably helped me stay sane through all the stresses and strains that I was going through. But the funny thing about it is I didn't really do a lot for about 9 years. The first year I did a little bit, and then I was very busy with, as I say, 15 companies and 30 buildings. We were full on doing quite a bit. But I continued to buy the product, and every month a check came in. February the 22nd, 2011, we had 140 odd tenants and a multi-million-dollar income that stopped. And along with that, my checks stopped too. But my Life Force checks still kept coming. Thank you, Mr. Life Force. Much appreciated. So I think I'll just finish at that, because even if you've got a job, even if you've got a business, it's real sensible to have at least 2 streams of income. And we're all getting older, and $260 odd on the pension doesn't cut it for me. I don't know if it cuts it for you, but it doesn't take much to get $265 out of Lifeforce as well as your pension. Then you've got about 525 grand a year.
I learned to be an industrial engineer. I was very fortunate with my career. I had a wonderful time. I travelled the world, worked in 8 different countries, travelled the world for 5 years and ended up living in Western Australia. And I worked for other people at different times, but then I began to work for myself, thinking that working for myself as a consultant, I'd have more time and more money. Like someone said before about people only paying you as much as they need. However, I found quite the opposite. I had even less time and less money because my life was spent as a consultant putting in propositions and applications for contracts, which sometimes I got and which sometimes I didn't, which meant that I never knew what my income would be. I never knew if I'd even have a contract. I was a single mother and life was extremely stressful. I had no time for holidays. You can't go on holiday if you've got an application in for a contract in case they give it to you and they want you tomorrow. So no holidays, no secure income, no support. Everyone was a competitor. There was no mentors, no support of any kind, no security and no future. It was tough. And I think really when I look back I was quite depressed. And I couldn't see a way out of it. And on top of that, my career was dying. Industrial engineering, when computers came in, became less and less required. So I was having to reshape myself, to reinvent myself in some other way. And what I did was get into career counselling and health counselling. And as part of that, I was very fortunate that my dear friends Krista and Michael, who I've known for many years before that, they brought Lifeforce to Australasia. And if you get a chance, you go and say thank you, because none of us would be here without their enormous effort. And it was enormous effort to get it to be here in Australasia. So they introduced me to this concept of network marketing, and I've been networking forever trying to get contracts, as you know, if you're a contractor. And over the years, I have built to a place where it's the complete opposite of what I had before. I had support and mentoring. I still have support and mentoring, and now I've become trained to be a mentor and support for the people in my team. I have a wonderful team of people. I have leverage. I have a secure income. I have often taken off an entire month only to come back to find my check was higher. I love that. And it's just grown and grown. So now I have support and mentoring. I have a secure income. As I said, I have many, as you see, I'm a youthful, mature woman. So I have most of the people in my business are younger than me, and I'm going to get paid for the rest of their life. Do you think I have an inheritance for my daughter? You bet your life I do. And I'm able to support other organisations that need my support, or I feel would like my support. So I have all of those things, but most of all, I have the life of my dreams. I grew up in Dunedin. I hate the cold. Now I have created a life of endless summer. I live in Australia for 9 months. And those other 3 months, you can guess which ones, I live in Colorado. So I get 2 springs, 2 summers, 2 autumns, and no winter.
Good evening. So now we're going into the engine room of this vehicle that we've been talking about, because money can only be made if a product of value is turned over. It has to be consumable. People have to, by their free will, buy it every month for the rest of their life, as so many people say. So let's have a look at what I've been talking about, especially the new guests. Some of you may not even know what you came here for. And we've started with the dreams and the economy and the business model, a vehicle to get to your dreams. What is that vehicle? Well, the fuel for it is super fuel. I'd say it's higher octane than rocket fuel. Now, I've been eating only organic and mostly biodynamic food for 15 years before coming across Body Balance. And I spent 3 years looking for the missing link, because if the fresh organic food out of our garden didn't give us what we needed to be really well, and my wife and I were both quite depleted in nutrients and wondering what we can do, finally the missing link showed up in a product called Body Balance when Krista and Michael came on holiday to Golden Bay in 1999. So you might have been thinking already that, oh, there's just so many products out there. And there is. You can go into a so-called health food shop where there's no food but just pills and capsules and bottles. And if you picked up a pamphlet on every one of the products, you'd be convinced that you needed it. Right? So you need all those bottles to be well. And I have no doubt that they are all good products made by good companies. You know, some are better than others, some cost more than others, so there's a variety. But what is the difference between all those products and Body Balance? When I didn't want to take pills, I didn't want to take something that was made in a laboratory. I wanted to cover, ideally I would have liked to cover the nutritional deficiency in the soil. And you wouldn't like it if I got into that subject, because it'd be here midnight and I'd still be passionately talking about soil deficiency. I won't go there in detail, but there is less and less nutrients in our soil. Therefore, there's less and less nutrients in our food that we grow on that soil. And at the same time, where our nutrient intake from the food we grow and eat has gone down, our stress level has gone up. Anybody notice? When you think of what your grandparents got done in a day and what you expected to get done in a day, especially at work, right? It's hugely more, but on a lot less nutrient intake. That's why there is supplements. That's why there is so many autoimmune diseases and people's body falling apart, and the doctor says there's nothing wrong with you. All the tests show there's nothing wrong and people can't get out of bed. So yes, we can take antioxidants and look younger and still not be well. Now, what's the point of looking good and feeling like you can't get out of bed? So there's lots of things we can take that make a difference. But unless we address the foundation, so I compare it to if my house or my body is a multi-story building. If you look at whenever a high building is built, most of the time they spend on building the building is going down, building a foundation. The building's ever only going to be as strong as the foundation we build it on. When we look at our body as a building, yes, the antioxidants is great. Say, you know, if you got a 4-story building and you clean the windows in the 4th floor, especially if you're in the 4th floor and you look out the window, it looks better. When you look at the building, you notice the 4th floor windows are looking better. But hey, if the other stories are still looking dirty, that's not that great. So then you take some enzymes and you take some probiotics and you take some this and some that and some that, and all of a sudden nearly the whole building is clean. But all that time the foundation is eroding. The building is slightly on a lane, still you can't see it with the naked eye. An engineer would say, don't build another story on this building because it's going to fall over. And that's how most of us are running around. We're looking good outside, or we do our best to look as good as we can be, right? So we do lots of cosmetics, lots of outside stuff. Then many and more people are doing more on the inside, taking multivitamins. They're in the supermarket now, so it's definitely mainstream. People have discovered if you take vitamins and you haven't got the minerals, it's a waste of your money. Can't do anything, the body can't do anything with those vitamins. So then you have to take minerals to get the vitamins, then you have to take enzymes to digest the minerals. And there's a whole lot to learn, and most of us haven't even got time to learn that. So you go to somebody that's learned all that, who sends you home with $500 worth of pills and says, come back in 3 weeks for more. Right? And yet, a very intelligent person who studied all this and had 2 Nobel Prizes. Right? Not many people had 2 Nobel Prizes. And the scientists with 2 Nobel Prizes wouldn't make a statement that they can't prove. The man is Linus Pauling. He said he can trace every disease back to a mineral deficiency. The body is designed to be a self-repairing mechanism. Whatever damage you do in one day should be repaired overnight, and you should wake up the next morning refreshed and all healed, everything repaired. Right? So if the body had the tools to do that, every morning you'd wake up refreshed. How many people here don't feel like waking up in the morning refreshed? There's a lot of people here already drinking body balance. Did you see that? That's the ones who didn't put their hand up. So what the body balance covers is it strengthens the foundation. Right? So when I said the antioxidants is like cleaning the windows, the body balance has got the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, the trace elements, the ultra trace elements, and the antioxidants. Right? So it strengthens the foundation and it cleans the windows all the way up. Right? It does all that, and it does it not because a scientist designed it in a laboratory. It does it because it's the missing link that nature provides to us, but if we don't hear about it and we don't know, we don't get to those. There's 9 different wild harvested sea vegetables. Now what most of us don't know is that there's a garden under the sea that also has lots of different plants, just like the garden in the backyard. You wouldn't say rosemary and chamomile is the same. Right? They do completely different things. They look different, they do different things. It's the same under the water. It's not all seaweed. Even calling it a weed is something we don't want in the garden. Right? So there are sea vegetables, and when you have 9 different, let's say herbs in the garden, you put a formula of 9 different herbs together, well, that's much different from each herb individually. So I won't go into a lot of detail on this, but there's plenty of information out there, and the person who's invited you has that information for you. But there's 9, it's a formula, a proprietary formula of Life Force of 9 distinctly harvested, wild harvested sea vegetables that come from the regeneration zone, which is where the planet regenerates itself. I can get more information on that as well. It's the cleanest place we've got. By the time we've polluted the regeneration zone to the point where it's not safe to eat those sea vegetables, we would have left about 20,000 years before that time. No? If we really pollute that zone, there's no life on Earth. This is where the Earth regenerates from. So it's the cleanest food, it's the most nutrient-dense food. My wife and I have done the most effort to grow the highest quality vegetables. And about 10 years ago, people started talking about nutrient dense. It's going to be the in word. Is the food you eat nutrient dense? Now there's ways of measuring that. We were shocked how not dense, whatever the opposite of dense is. It's got the extreme opposite would be what you get at the fast food outlets, which we call hollow food. It's just like a shell with nothing in it. Polyfiller. It fills you up. We starve while we eat it. We overeat and starve at the same time on a cellular level. That's the sad thing. So, 9 sea vegetables that have got all those trace elements, all those minerals that are no longer in our soil, and it's in natural balance. It's not the scientist saying this is the amount. Nature put the amount. And then we got another one of the miracle plants on the planet, which is aloe vera. And again, there's lots of different kinds and lots of different qualities of aloe vera. Where really the magic is putting those 2 elements together, the sea and the land, and the most nutrient-dense plants from the land and the sea, together in a formula. Even if we knew what it individually does, what it does all together is what creates the results that people are talking about. So let's listen to some people's results. Thank you.
My story with Life Force started about 15 years ago, at a time in my life when I was growing, working with other people to grow all our own food organically, and I was in optimum health and well-being at that time in my life. And it actually, there's something that really stands out for me at that time, is actually chocolate cake and blue icing, because 15 years ago on this particular day, it was my daughter's 13th birthday, and I'd made her this chocolate cake with blue icing, And it was that day that I started to get sick. And over 3 days, I just went on a major downhill slide, and I was in so much pain, I was delirious. Through being taken to a doctor who misdiagnosed and mismedicated me, I ended up in a coma and a life support system, and was in a coma for about a week. And when I came out of that coma, I was pretty much a vegetable. And one of the first things I remember being conscious of when I came to was this chocolate cake I'd made with the blue icing. And I thought I'd poisoned myself somehow, because I didn't really understand what had been going on. But anyway, that was kind of the beginning of this 2-year story where I kept on having relapses of this quite rare health condition. And one of the things that was related to it was the tests that showed up that I'd been really critically depleted in certain minerals, and that had what had set off this whole train of events. But 2 years of being in recovery and being very, very compromised on every level of my being, physically and mentally and emotionally. It was a really challenging time for myself and my family, and particularly my daughter, 13, 14, 15, having to deal with a mother who was, you know, mentally younger and emotionally younger than her at times. You know, it was pretty challenging for my husband, Suona. So I was taking all sorts of supplements through that time, and nothing seemed to be working. And then I was just very, very blessed that this amazing product came into my life, and it was something that delivered every kind of nutrient that my body must have needed at that time in a way that it could really accept. And I went from, you know, just 3 months of taking this incredible product, I was back on my feet and never had another relapse of that particular health problem. And I've just been on an incredible journey over the last 13 years with this product in my life and in the life of my loved ones and so many other people that I've made contact with and shared this with over the years since then. So I've had the privilege of literally seeing thousands of people change their lives with this incredible product that we've had to offer. So I feel blessed, and every day just feels so good. Thank you.
In January the 9th this year, I had a serious car accident, and it was really big. And what happened for me was that I was lying there in the hospital, I was lying really still, and I couldn't eat anything much. People were really amazed at my amazing recovery, because for 12 years now I've been drinking this product, and I really believe this had a big impact. But for 12 years I've been drinking it, and amazing, it was just really amazing. And you know, for me, I think I'm really grateful that I had that background, because what happened here was that I was gradually, the main thing that I felt was my energy. The main thing that I could actually feel was the energy coming back. And I feel that I've got even more energy now than I ever had before. And I really attributed this to my having been drinking this for so long. And the other thing is that I'm very, very grateful for this business, because without this business, I mean, this business meant that I could drink as much body butter as I wanted, and I also got paid. If I'd had another job, an ordinary job, other than the business I'm doing now, there's no way that I would have, you know, I would have had no pay. Yeah, so I'm really grateful.
I was first introduced to this aloe vera and sea vegetation product by a dear friend whom I had seen this product help recover from a serious illness. So when she asked me if I would like to take a look and try it out, I was very open and interested to do so. However, I really didn't think that this was going to be something that I was going to want or need in my life for a long time, because at this time I was growing probably about 80% of my own fruits and vegetables organically. I had a good diet and I was healthy. At this time as well, I was a mother of young children, and one thing that was going on for me was that my energy levels would be quite up and down, and sometimes I would just be exhausted. but I was not linking this at all with nutrition. I thought it was just because I was, a busy mum and was just sleep deprived. So when I started to take Body Balance, what happened was I felt this energy and this vitality come back into my body. And it was an energy and vitality that I hadn't felt in a long, long time. And over time, my energy levels became more consistent, and I had this enhanced sense of well-being. So it was then that I knew that I really wanted to have this product in my life and my family's life on a regular and consistent basis. So, and I also saw that if I needed this, then there were probably a lot of other people out there as well that needed this too. So this led me to the business opportunity, and this opportunity has really changed my life. It has connected me with an incredible community of people of really high integrity. A community of people that are really, really committed to helping people, individuals, grow on an inner and outer level. We work cooperatively, we don't work competitively. It's also given me a platform to really look at my beliefs and to look at who I am and who I'm being in this world. It's allowed me to really be with my children. You know, when I can take them to all their different activities. I can go to their school things that are happening. If they're unwell, I'm there. I can be at home. And it's also allowed me to show them that we can really take control of our life, that we can actually create the life that we want to live. And, you know, this is, well, it's priceless.